You guys, if you pick up the words, the language, there'll be something worth learning. आज गोवर्धन पूजा है ना?
Yes.
So, hello and very good evening once again. We welcome you to Vestralex free online community classes on law. Today, we have the amazing and fantastic opportunity of learning through this interactive Sanchar conversation with Mr. Navin Kumar Jaggi, senior partner, Jaggi and Jaggi International Attorneys at Law. Before we hand over the class to Jaggi sir, before we start exploring Jaggi sir's life through this session, a little bit about Jaggi sir. Mr. Navin Kumar Jaggi leads Jaggi and Jaggi, a prominent law firm with nearly a century of legacy. Initially established in 1923 by Shri Navin Kumar Jaggi sir. As a third generation attorney with over 5 decades of experience, Mr. Jaggi has practiced extensively in India's Supreme Court and multiple high courts, excelling across various branches of law. Holding a master's degree from the University of Delhi, he has also served as a law professor specializing in pleadings, conveyancing, and constitutional law, among others. Uh, Under Mr. Jaggi's leadership, the firm offers comprehensive legal services, advising domestic and international clients on business law, commercial litigation, intellectual property, business immigration, and more. Known for its seasoned litigation team, Jaggi and Jaggi also represents clients in family, criminal, and property matters. The firm includes retired justices and renowned lawyers who collaborate to provide clients with specialized legal solutions. Mr. Jaggi's extensive client roster spans from government bodies to prominent business entities to socially impactful figures and underrepresented communities, underscoring the firm's commitment to both excellence and public service. Jaggi sir is currently also the president of Automobile Association of Upper India. So it's in the truest sense of the words, it's a blessing, and we're absolutely grateful to you for taking out this opportunity and continuing to share with us to help us learn and grow. We welcome you, sir.
Oof! Imagine on this glorious and auspicious day of Govardhan Puja, Prabhu Keshav has thrust upon my weak and frail shoulders the ominous and the onerous task of trying to measure up to what he spoke about me. What he said, I'm neither worthy of any encomium or any accolade mentioned there or any contribution that he had stated. I have only 2 or 3 accomplishments which satisfy my soul and my spirit. And those accomplishments relate to matters that are handled in a court of law. Primary amongst them is I got the law chain on dyslexia. A dyslexic child cannot be failed from 1st to the 9th and 11th. 10th and 12th, he or she gets a writer and an extra half an hour. My second accomplishment that I think I may have contributed to society is for terminally ill cancer patients who are now able to get opium tablets to alleviate their unbearable pain, which is therefore maybe momentary, but it is unbearable. These were through 2 PILs. Barring that, I don't think I have contributed anything or have in any manner been of any worth being called a teacher. It is gentlemen like Mr. Keshav, Prabhu Keshav, who pull my leg. I have former students who are now heading judiciaries, pull my leg. One of them had the temerity and audacity. He said, "Sir, we must give you an award, the Ramakant Achrekar Guru Award of Legal Teaching." I laughed. I laughed so much that I had to be sent to the hospital to recover. My lungs couldn't bear, my frail lungs couldn't bear it. Be that be on the jocular note, it is really an honor for me that I've been invited on Vestralex for a second time. I don't think I'm worthy of it, but I bow before you in gratitude for your generosity and magnanimity in inviting me for a second time.
It's
Per,
absolutely
per,
a privilege and pleasure, sir.
Thank you. Perhaps it is just that I was born into a family where law was treated as the noblest of noble professions. And as it was when I entered into this glorious field. My father was the first matriculate, first FA, first BA, and first law graduate in not only his own district village, Pindi Cave or district Rawalpindi, now in Pakistan upon the division of the subcontinent in 1947, but in 7 or 8 districts. Punjab was the largest portion of the Indian subcontinent before partition. For those of you well read in legal history, they would recall that right from Cape Comorin up to the Deccan was the presidency of Madras being ruled from Fort St. George. East was Calcutta being ruled from Fort St. William, and Bombay, west was Bombay Fort. And above that, in between was the United Provinces, not Uttar Pradesh, United Provinces, Cooch Behar, Saurashtra, and that area. And above that, ranging across parts of Iran, Afghanistan, up to Burma, what was the Punjab conquered by Maharaja Ranjit Singh. So the North, the Punjab played a very, very vital role. Although the South, the Madras presidency had won the British, the rule over India, it was Punjab which was now governing and more powerful than the rest of the other presidencies. My father hailed from Rawalpindi, and in those days, you could never become an advocate forthwith. He was first entered on the rolls as a vakil. And after that, after a year of practice, on the rolls as a pleader. And after having completed 2 years, he was enrolled on the bar, Lahore High Court bar, as an advocate. Look at the strangest of strange things. At that point of time, in the 1920s to 1930 29, Maharaja Hari Singh was the king of Kashmir. His son, Dr. Karan Singh, is a very leading, prominent public leader, a very well-read, versatile Sanskrit scholar also. An accident took place in the district of Poonch, which was under the suzerainty and the sovereignty of Maharaja Hari Singh of Kashmir. Now, it was a very 1 out of a million freak accident that it was between a relative of the Governor General and the King of Maharaja of Kashmir. Naturally, the matter had to go to court for trial because in 1901, Queen Victoria had ordained every country that had automobiles, she had set up automobile associations. So there was a law. The Motor Vehicles Act came into promulgation in 1939. After this case, it was not in existence at that time. But the law, as promulgated by Her Majesty Queen Victoria and subsequently by King Edward VIII. In this case, the Maharaja could not find a single lawyer in Poonch to be able to defend his relative. He sent his farman all over. Ultimately, his couriers reached Rawalpindi. My father had left Lahore that time and had just reached Rawalpindi and was entering into his village when the couriers accosted him and asked him to be present before the Maharaja in Poonch, in Srinagar. My father, honored to be of service to the Maharaja, was driven in great comfort, luxurious by the standards of those days. And the Maharaja called upon him to defend the case. Now, what happened when my father appeared, the barrister representing the relative of the Governor General, raised an objection. How can Mr. Basant Kumar Jaggi present the case because he's neither a resident of the state of Kashmir, district of Punch, nor is he domiciled here. Now this raised a very serious handicap for the Maharaja. The Maharaja petitioned the Governor General and asked him that my father, be given domicile till the case was decided, adjudicated upon and determined. Look at the fairness, justiciability, the ethical and moral modes of the British. The Governor General conceded to the request of the Maharaja, and my father was given the domicile for 6 to 8 weeks. The case was not concluded in that time, and the Governor General extended that by a few weeks. Lo and behold, again, I speak of the fairness of the British judicial system. The case was decided in favor of the Maharaja. And that was a stepping stone in the field of automobiles, motor vehicles for the family, my father, my patriarch of Triple J. And at that time, there was not a single big or small transporter who was not being represented by my father till 1947. One case, this is a lesson for the new people, the youngsters entering the field. You do well in one case, and there you are. You don't have to trek down from Kilimanjaro right up to Mount Everest. One case, fight with your heart and soul and spirit, can take you to Mount Everest. And that's the turning point. And the first book on Motor Vehicles Act, when it was promulgated in 1939, was written by my father. I've been informed that it lies in the national libraries of Australia and of many countries where the vehicles are driven right-hand, not in the left-hand driven countries. That was the start. That was the start.
Most humbly, sir. I think that's the best start that could have happened for today's session. So, sir, with utmost sincerity and utmost gratitude, sir, because sir, again, sir, this class, sir, we are hopeful of having another session with you soon, sometime, where we will be, as we did last time, we'll fix a topic and we'll discuss upon that. So, this is a Sanchar conversation. And sir, I've been told that I speak a lot, so I'll obviously try to limit my contributions also, but I'll try to explore. We will try to explore your journey, sir, since obviously it's a very esteemed journey since the pre-independence days till today. But sir, I hope to start with the most fundamental question, sir, and I want to touch upon your health also, sir. So, sir, how are you doing, sir? How have you been?
It's very kind of you. I am touched by your concern. I'm very grateful. Well, I had a death-defying surgery, and you know, heart transplant is not easy. Pulling on, I still have. I was pretty strong, but I mean frail, and I have to be careful about my eating habits and my regular habits. Yes, but very kind of you to ask. But the honor of being on your show, that gave me the zeal and enthusiasm. See, when I talk of Vestralex, my voice gets a little more boisterous, more vivacity, and I get the zeal and enthusiasm to be able to be a part of your wonderful exercise in reaching across thousands and lakhs of law students and everyone connected with the law.
It's very generous of you, sir. We hope that we're able to do justice to your to this session with you, and we hope that it may actually truly reach out to as many people as it really should, as the learnings from your kind self really should. So, sir,
yes.
since again, sir, since Jaggi International, from what I understand, is about to complete, or has it, sir, already completed 100 years in service?
I was going to reprimand you, chide you, but you are far too senior in wisdom, sagacity, and versatility. So I couldn't do that. If you count, we are in now in 2024, and if he founded his practice in 1923, even a dumb student like me in arithmetic would know we crossed 100. We are in the 100, we crossed 101, 101 years plus a few days. On 2nd of October 2024, we completed 101 years.
So I just wanted to hear it from you.
Thank you very much.
So it's very, very kind of you.
Yeah.
So very generous. And
there was one brilliant intern. I think he's from ICFA or yes, UPS Dehradun, Mr. Bradul Agnihotri. He said, "Sir, you made a mistake. You're thrilled, because I point out a lot of their mistakes." Said, "You said 2nd of October. How could your father start your practice on 2nd of October? That's a holiday." And I said, I laughed at him, "You dumb kiddo. Mahatma Gandhi was, this holiday became after he was martyred in 1948. So in 1923, 2nd of October was not a holiday."
Absolutely, sir.
Mr. Mridul Agnihotri from UPS comes from Lakhimpuri Kheri. And if you ever want to have his pedas, brilliant guy. Tell him bring ek chitang, adi chitang lata.
So
He was the one offering me water.
Oh, that'll be great, sir. Actually, sir, it would be really lovely, sir. I love pedas, and since you, sir, started off with a auspicious mention of Govardhan Puja today, so I think, sir, we all deserve pedas today, which
Yes,
we'll try to take from the blessings and learnings of this session with you today,
if
sir.
you're anywhere near, yes, because he brought a huge quantity. 4 कहार भेजने पड़े. पहले डोली जाती थी, राजा महाराजाओं की तश्तरियां आती थी ना, तो कहार लेके आते थे. इनके 250 ग्राम से भी कम, 200 ग्राम या 250 ग्राम के गत्ते के डब्बे में 4 कहार भेजने पड़े कि पेड़े लेके आ जाओ. जेनरोसिटी, मैग्नानिमिटी, गुरु दक्षिणा, ऐसे हैं ये.
Sir, most humbly, sir, how things have started in your life, sir. Very few lawyers can boast a practice which has even some kind of implications or some kind of any kind of a legacy which goes pre-independence. So, sir, I'm just curiously asking you right now. So, what are the things which you remember, if at all, with respect to pre-independence and post-independent India, and how are those things relevant to your life?
Forgive me for being audacious, ostentatious, and presumptuous. These are the words my wife, Professor Veena Bakshi, professor in charge, faculty of Law, Delhi University, always says I am possessed of. She says, these are the only good qualities you have. Course and satire. I have no bad qualities, only these 3 good qualities. But I'm using this to say I'm a septuagenarian, more of an octogenarian, and I still have an elephantine memory. I recall most of my earlier youth, smallest of small things. We've been blessed that way. So I could share with you if it doesn't offend the audience.
Please,
I
sir,
come
please.
I come from the best school of the country that time, St. Columbus, which was elitist of elitist school at that time. Who's who? Mr. Sanjay Gandhi was my class fellow, Mr. Sunil Shastri, Shujat Ali, ambassador to Iraq's son. I mean, we were a very limited few people. Education was limited to a very few. And that system of education is no longer in existence. It was called the senior Cambridge system. It was up to the 11th. 9th was called pre-senior and 11th. We had our exams in November, December. Our papers went to Cambridge for correction. Results came in April, and July we joined the college. 7 months holidays. And the education level was fantastic. It trained you not only to be versatile in every field, it trained you to be also a good human being. Can you believe it? There used to be a class called moral science. Unheard of in today's world, where dishonesty is the order of the day. You hug somebody, and both the time, both are thinking, how do I stab him in the back? But no, we had a moral science class. Nobility, ethics, and morality were one of the, most sought after attitude. In the 70s, yes, one could only know one judge, one magistrate who was corrupt. And he was named You Damn Singh. Udham Singh, so You Damn Singh. Corruption was unheard of. I offered for getting a case listed in High Court early, small money. The officer came out. He says, I know your father. Otherwise, I'd have reported you to the registrar and the Chief Justice. They did it because it was their duty. You helped your seniors after the military. We had the greatest respect for seniority. You were one day senior to me, I'd bow before you, I'd carry your books. And you treat me like a junior, guide me. Today, a senior tries to help a junior, the junior barks back at him. A junior will never ever think of offering a seat to a senior. We become commercialized, become carpetbaggers, as Harold Robbins wrote in his momentous book, Carpetbaggers, New York of 1904. Coming back to this thing, the greatest thing that I miss is the morality. If you made a mistake, you went to a judge. He would chide you, reprimand you, but forgive you. You didn't have to lie your way for small things. I know it sounds absolutely like a ludicrous story, but that was the way of life. Law was really one of the noblest of noble professions. If you went to a police station, the kotwal, the SHO was normally those days called kotwal, he say, "Aiye wakil sahab, तशरीफ लाएं, आपकी खिदमत में क्या पेश कर सकता हूं." Corruption was there in the cop stations, but no bad. The cop would never dare insult or be rude or not be respectful towards a lawyer. The cops knew that the black coat demands a greater respect than the khaki uniform. A judge was like a god on earth. Respectability, morality, honesty in the profession. That seemed to have just not disappeared, totally vanished. Times have
What
changed.
may be the cause for that, sir?
One possibly is because, as I may invite a lot of umbrage, a lot of criticism on your show, but I feel that law is not a field meant for everyone. If you go back, why do you have the concept of Lord? Well, he is a Lord and he's a judge. He can take life or he can give life. He's a God on earth because he is destined, or by providence or by hard work, he's sitting on the chair. You cannot deny that. Did the judge not have the power to give you the death sentence? Did the judge not have the power to forgive you and find that you're innocent and save you from the gallows? And if you go into the historicity or the history or the antiquity of where the question of lords comes, when I was teaching in law in Delhi University, I should teach them legal history. Why the Lord? How has it come? Today, nobody is taught in the universities, so they think Lord is wrong. There was one judge, I happened to come across him. He had a very rousing, remarkable farewell also, playing to the gallery. He wanted to be called Shri. He did not want to be called my Lord. So in private, I asked him, then should you not have resigned? How can you change a system which is there for centuries? You're holding a post in which the word Lord is an integral part. You cannot separate. Here you can't separate the chaff from the grain. It is one part. Lord, is a judge. And can you believe it? I explained to him how this concept arose. I brought him back to King Charles I when Oliver Cromwell led a mutiny against him and he was beheaded. And that was the first time the British Parliament was set up. And there was great anger and venom. And in vengeance, they said, okay, we, the common people, will decide how to do justice. So the common people set up a parliament that was called the House of Commons. That failed. They had to go back because those nincompoops, unread, uneducated, could not determine law, could not do justice. Justice is not at the whims and fancy of the majority. Numbers. They had numbers. So they would fall back on the other system. They brought in what was called the upper house, the House of Lords, like we have the Rajya Sabha. If you see the Rajya Sabha of earlier days, every member was included there, inducted there because of his merit in a special field. Leave alone today. But at that point, the purpose of House of Lords, Rajya Sabha, was to have a person of versatility, distinction in his field, so that any matter that comes up, he's a master of that field and he's able to guide the legislature how to enact a law, how to promulgate that law, or how to execute or implement it. So they set up House of Lords. And the judges who determined the judicial aspect, they were from the House of Lords. That is how the Lords came up. And more so, the lawyers could not be from an ordinary common family, because a lawyer never worked. The purpose of an advocate is not to charge fee. The purpose of an advocate is to render justice. So whoever was of the landed gentry, who belonged to the landlord era, affluent family, did not need to earn money from the legal practice. He would be practicing law because he fought for a client, for glory, for justice, fairness, uprightness, forthrightedness, not money. That is why you see the gown, there's a pouch behind. Wherever when a client would be happy, he would come and pay the money. When the counsel would come back, hang his gown. He never asked for money. You are not expected to ask for money. Your income came from your other sources. That is actually the law.
So
I remember until the mid early 80s and at least the entire 70s. Out of 10 cases, my father would do 3 cases out of pocket. I mean, free, and even spend money out of pocket. Where is that now? And then one more thing: once you settle your fee, that's it till the end. Today they have, they find one way, this way, that way, like no.
So
because you came. I'm only talking of the antiquity and the actual. Because when you came from an affluent family where money was not the guiding factor of becoming a lawyer, so this practice was there. Today, that is not the purpose. Today, the purpose is just the reverse. The lucre, the honor. If you see the prayer, lawyer's prayer, and the oath of office of a lawyer, he says, I shall not be in any manner concerned with the lucre. Just be sorry.
So we had a class very recently with Mr. Mohit Mathur. He shared the same concern that you had. So Mathur sir, being the senior advocate, being president of Delhi High Court Bar, raised this element that over the past 2 years, apparently some 10,000 advocates or a very large number of advocates have started registering themselves with various bar associations now. So, sir, in today's world, how do you see both of these things playing out? First of all, sir, what exactly is nobility, and what is the relevance or what is the implication of nobility in the profession today? And then, sir, second of all, when such large number of students are becoming advocates, then, sir, how are they going to go about meeting their daily needs, or whatever their family uh, personal financial needs are?
Uh, Let me just share with you, uh, Mohit, Mohit Mathur, Mr. Mohit Mathur, Senior, comes from a very grand and distinguished background. His grandfather, Mr. Tarachand Mathur, was the president of the Tees Hazari Bar for 16 years uninterrupted. There were only two courts in Delhi that time, Kashmiri Gate, which was later shifted to Tees Hazari, and Patiala House. It was not Patiala, it was Travancore House earlier. No, it was 15 Rajpur Road, then Travancore House, and then Patiala House, the Delhi High Court, till it shifted to its present precincts. His son, Mohit's father, Mr. D.C. Dinesh Mathur, was the president of the High Court Bar at least three different times. And Mohit is there for the second time. So he comes from a very grand and distinguished peerage. And if he shares this, I share the same thought with him. What has happened is private law colleges have mushroomed for money. At one time, I was on the board or concerned with 73 universities, including national law universities. So I used to go and I still go and lecture them. In most of the private colleges, the only purpose of the students is to get a law degree so that they can wear a black coat and they can perform acts, illegal acts within legality. I mean, their thought process is not that of a lawyer. They feel if you have a black coat, you have the right to thrash a cop, you have the right, you can do anything. No, that's not it. You ruined the very noble profession. And when I spoke of nobility from the tone and modulation of your voice, I felt you were speaking of nobility in a family peerage, in a societal form. I was speaking of nobility in the profession of law. Be that as it may, I still believe in nobility of a background like how well read and how well educated you are. But here I was speaking of nobility in the profession. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely, sir. We're speaking of the nobility in the profession, sir.
Yeah,
because of what does nobility? So there are two words, and so since you're so eloquent with your words and with your thoughts, so two words most important, if you can say, help us understand. One is nobility, in whatever manner, sir, you may choose to interpret. And sir, second is what is solicitation? Sir? What are these two words, and what do they mean?
What did you say? One is nobility, the other?
Solicitation.
Huh?
Solicitation.
Oh, solicitation. Okay. See, if you see our philosophy, I've never ever solicited in my life. It was considered the most demeaning and denigrating aspect of practice. In Tees Hazari courts, there used to be boards. Beware of touts. Beware of touts. Today it doesn't work like this because the system has collapsed. The actual system of law practice has collapsed. Today we are churning out thousands and lakhs of students who at the most may be called paralegal. But that ability of court craft, drafting, legal skills, manners, how you present yourself, sympathy and empathy for a client, feeling the pain of a client, feeling the sorrow and the anguish of a client. They no longer exist. What matters is how to prolong a case, how to get extra money, when the motive changes, when the aspect changes, you cannot have nobility. Nobility then has to be all sacrificed on the altar other aspects, other needs, other desires. Today, if you don't solicit, you'll never get any business.
So,
See,
so what
because
exactly is it?
soliciting means that what you call a lawyer is supposed. See, you got to understand the concept. I've not been able to clarify. A lawyer meant that you are not an ordinary person. A lawyer meant that you are somebody above society. Above society to help the society, not for your own personal grandeur, for your own satisfying your own dreams of grandeur, but above the ordinary society to help that society. And you could only do that if you have your means of survival from your family estate, and your purpose of surviving through your legal practice was not the means. That is the actual legal profession. In days of yore, that is the thing. With advancement, technology and everything, that original system ceases to exist now. So now we have to adjust in the present system the chaos. Am I able to clarify? The actual legal system meant somebody who practiced with values was qualified to be a lawyer. Like they said, not only the judge, but the lawyer must live in an ivory tower. He must be seen, not only be acting justly, but seen to be acting justly. That was it. You know, in Article 311, there was a clause, moral turpitude. Do you find it anywhere? In the earlier part of my first decade of my practice, moral turpitude, I read several cases, over a score of cases on moral turpitude, government servant. Moral turpitude was if you are married and you went out with another woman. You know, in England, a judge has been asked to resign for a fraud of 14 pounds. Another has been asked to leave because he used a barber or saloon, 20 pounds. If you go through the system, there's an app which describes the legal action taken against solicitors and barristers. They still have the strictest yardstick. In America, on the contrary, every con man, every businessman becomes a lawyer, and the whole practice system is different. I am speaking, when you ask me of the past, I'm speaking of the past.
So,
Past, it was there because law was not meant for everyone. It could not have been meant for everyone, cannot have been meant for everyone. That is why it was a limited this thing.
so in today's world, sir, like
So, but that is outdated, outmoded.
So
So
today,
I'm only sorry to interrupt you. I'm only saying this when you ask me what was in the past.
of
So
course,
anybody hearing me, you know what would they say? This is not ludicrous, but it pervades into the realms of absurdity. I repeat, they'd all be sitting there laughing. It's not ludicrous. It permeates into the realms of absurdity, what this old man is saying. But that was it then. Well, there was a Nalanda, there was a Harappa, there was a Kushan Empire, there was a Magadhan Empire, Gupta Empire. There were many empires, they cease to exist. There's a Roman Empire, there's a British Empire.
so in 200, 300
Just
years, we
because it
don't even
doesn't,
know what will happen to this civilization, sir. So, sir, absolutely, I'm with you. So, we're just exploring, sir, this is an academic discussion, no matter what happens. So, it's if anyone wants to make some sense of it, then they'll obviously have to refer to the entire thing, and they'll still have to study more. It's not going to be, how do I say, if someone is a seeker, then it's not going to suffice, irrespective.
See what happens. I have a small place in a colony where somebody told me, has the maximum number of lawyers have their offices here. In a small colony quite near the Delhi High Court, Saket,
It's very
Patiala.
humble of you.
Yeah. There are. On the
It's one of
street
the
that
most
I am.
prestigious colonies in
No,
Delhi, I
no,
think.
very kind of you. On the street, I was told there more than 300 lawyers trekking down in and out, and you find young boys and girls smoking away in their break time and everything. You find it's more of a, it looks more like a Tisari court than than a colony. In this place, what you call
No.
what I find is that the youngsters coming there, the if you talk to them, I've trained. Allow me to be uh, showing off. Trained nearly 4,400 interns over the years. Many of them are doing rather well in the judiciary and their professions. And I find today that purpose is just they think a law degree means you come out of office and you want a five figure packet the first month. That's it. To get a five figure packet in the first month, you got to know something about law, of which they know nothing. It's very easy from Chat GPT or these other apps, copy here, there. I have to, well, when students were interning with me, I found they were trying to sell, they were claiming themselves to be content writers and sending contracts. One chap was charging $10 or something. He sent 4 contracts. He asked me 5, 6 questions. I didn't know what he's talking about. I'd give him the points. Suddenly I asked him, "What are you doing?" I said, "You need a kick in the back. Tomorrow, look at that. If they use your point and any matter goes to court, you'll be in trouble.
So,
Neither are you a law graduate, neither have you cleared the bar exam, and how are you doing it? Because the underpricing, that's why the mess in Canada. For $10, many of these interns would ask me, I'd give them what you call like this. And these idiots, what they would do, the preamble that I would dictate for them, that would be the language that would please Her Majesty, the Queen, or the Lord Chancellor, the original House of Lords, or now the Supreme Court of United Kingdom and the other Supreme Court of England and Wales. The first few paragraphs, the language I was using would be of that level. And he gets stuck up in a point, I'd give him. And in between with his own stupid error language with 10, 20,000 grammatical errors, wrong spellings, wrong pronunciation, paragraphing, no cohesion, and for $10. And when they read there, they really get mad at him. That's
so,
not it. You don't become a lawyer because and they want a big salary. How do you tell them, you idiots, you know nothing to be earning? If you know something, you're entitled to a good salary. They can't speak English properly. Their grammar is atrocious. They do not know how to present, modulate their voice or present before the court. Copy from here, there, copy, paste. It doesn't work like that. That's not law practice. That's not a lawyer. That's the worst, averse to the very concept of legal practice. And
certainly, sir.
soliciting has become a necessary part. They go and
So,
apply. There was one fellow, what he
so,
did, he would go to a market and he'd go to every shopkeeper and say, अगर आपका कोई चेक बाउंस हुआ है, आप मेरे को चेक दे दो, मैं जब आपको पैसा मिलेगा परसेंटेज पे काम करता हूँ. He would collect their checks, वकालतनामा साइन करा जो भी करता था. After a little while, he'd start blackmailing them, मेरे को फीस दो, जो मैं चेक ही वापस नहीं करता, मेरा इतना खर्चा हो रहा है. Then in that market, imagine, he went there to collect. Some other shopkeepers, they found him there, and 10, 20 shopkeepers collected, and they were thrashing him. And that poor soul did not have the intelligence not to wear a black coat going to that market. This is some years back. This is before my operation. So I was fairly healthy. I had to speak to them and save him. There's this practice of law. Going to shopkeepers. I sent one client to the lawyer who represented me in the Patiala House court.
Sir.
He kept insisting, sir, मैं आके मेरा मुंशी आके ले जाएगा. I said, नहीं, पास है भेज देते हैं. Everything settled, fee settled, everything settled. He goes there, he finds two people, two touts. अरे इतने पैसे क्यों दे रहे हो? I'll get it done. लाओ 500 रुपये और 50 रुपये दो, अभी फोटो कॉपी करा के आपको लाते हैं, हम 500 रुपये में काम कर देंगे. That guy hands him over the papers. Suddenly a call comes, phone number लेते हैं, call comes from another number कि आपके कागज लेटर बॉक्स के नीचे पड़े हैं पटियाला उसके, 5,000 रुपया दे दो तो हम आपके कागज वापस कर देंगे. That client comes running back to the High Court to me. By that time, my case was expected in the Supreme Court. I left for the Supreme Court. And before I reached, I was able to get the message. I rang up the lawyer in Patiala House. Do something about it. He said, I told you, don't send him alone. Can you imagine? If this is the practice being followed, what do you do?
So my seniors are aware of it, and so I want to. So this is the beauty of senior-junior relationship in this profession. My seniors are aware of it. Absolutely, if I am asked to do something about it, I will most certainly, whatever I can to my, most humbly in my limited capacities, I will definitely indulge. But I understand that there's a lot that has to be seen in this profession. So it's archaic, so many laws being changed now, hundreds and 150-year-old laws. Still so many things. So people only reason why we do this is simply because so much reliance is placed upon law, constitution, legal institutions. Yet there is so little knowledge about all of these things. So one thing which I most, seriously dislike about all these legal maxims and all, is the one wherein it says that ignorance of law is not an excuse. Then teach. Then tell people about law. What do you mean ignorance of law is not an excuse? You either tell them, then they understand that okay, that I should not be ignorant, or should be mindful of more things. You don't tell them anything. You don't teach them anything. But anyway, so all of these things are where I will only start. Some may but anyway, so two important points, considering that we have limited time with you today. 2 points they come out from this conversation.
No. My wife has allowed me. She says, if you speak out and speak so much, you get tired. You won't chew my head. So I don't know about you, but I could go up to the whatever your full time is. I won't take a break.
It's so kind of you, sir. Yeah. Then I think we'll have ample to discuss. But sir, two things which just came up right now. So I just wanted to ask. So one is with respect to the importance of regional languages in legal proceedings. And sir, second is, sir, we'll come to that later. Sir, first, so what are your views on the use of regional languages in legal proceedings?
Okay. You gave me two questions. First was ignorance of law is no excuse.
So
I remember I read this case maybe 40 years, more than 50 years ago in college. Satwan Singh versus APO. Have you heard of this? Have you read this case? Where this concept came, ignorance of law is no excuse. Satwan Singh versus Assistant Passport Officer is the case. A man coming from Caribbean island, West Indies, started his plane journey. There was no law in India at that time. I'll tell you what that law was later. He landed in America. From America, he boarded the plane. There was no law at that time, relevant law in existence that time. He halted coming back. Those were the days when the flights there were no direct flights. There were hop-in flights there short distances. He landed from JFK airport. He landed at Heathrow, England. There was no law at that time. From Heathrow, he landed at this place, Doha. There was no law at that place. When the plane took off from Doha from India, there was no law at that time. Somewhere on the on the high seas, there was no law. But before the high seas ended, Morarji Desai passed a law. He was the finance minister. Passed a law that carrying of gold and silver bullion to India is an offense. Now this person lands. There was no Indira Gandhi International Airport. It was Palam Airport, small international airport. When he lands at the Palam Airport, at the customs, because he thought at that time there was no law. He was not aware Morarji had passed a law while he was in the skies. And the customs caught him and they confiscated the gold. The matter went up and it was ultimately decided that he said, I had no knowledge. The court said, ignorance of law is no excuse. What a ridiculous judgment. Baseless, illogical judgment. So when you have matters like this, whatever be the reason, then there's another case, Raliaram Kasturi Lal, where this man, Barakama Road, one of the richest people, he was carrying gold and silver bullion to Meerut. His vehicle got stalled, and he was coming. It was dark. A policeman caught him. Naturally, when you're carrying gold and silver, old days, potli mein baandh ke leke jate the. The policeman found it suspicious, took him to the police station, and there he deposited the bullion, gold and silver in the malkhana. Next day, he could prove that he's a bullion merchant. What this cop did, he vanished, took the gold and silver from the malkhana and went to Pakistan. Right up to the Supreme Court, Chief Justice P.B. Gajendra Gadkar shed crocodile tears. And he said, the policeman was acting in the course of his duty. The king can do no wrong. He was doing a sovereign duty. Oh, ridiculous. Shedding crocodile tears. In the 70s and 80s, these judgments were they were the basis of teaching you law. Then there's that other lady, that accident case. There also, a military driver killed a person. His wife filed a claim. The Supreme Court said no. He was in sovereign duty doing his duty. The king can do no wrong. So we've had some very, very interesting judgments also. Now coming to your second question, could you just repeat it, please?
Good evening.
Sir, I just wanted to ask with respect to use of regional languages.
Yes.
What are your views on regional languages?
What I feel, what I opine, or what I very seriously hold as a conviction need not be correct, but I say law in regional languages should not be permitted at all. Because at the end of the day, the world is now a global village. If the European Union, if the French at one time who frowned upon, they knew English, frowned upon and pretended they did not know any English, have accepted English as a universal language, there can be no. That is dividing.
So how it is still in UP, in Gujarat, in Madhya Pradesh, that Hindi or whatever regional language, Maharashtra also for that matter of fact, Marathi is being used.
Well, that's my first opinion. You cannot.
So many lawyers are being cut out, so simply because they don't know the language.
Yes. No, you have to have one common language. One common language. According to me, if you had one common language, it would, to a large extent, remove corruption. Now, what do you do? What's the purpose of it? When you come to a higher court, you have to again get it translated into English.
So,
what's the purpose?
So most of the work that I've seen at the Supreme Court is like where we're just sitting and translating most of the time.
Yes. It should never be. It's a divisive system. One language the world over, that has to be English. See, this would cut out from the very threshold, from the very rudimentary level. I mean, all uh, the people not deserving to be in this noble profession, if you can still call it noble.
No, sir. As long as sir, you are there, as long as all of our seniors at the bar are
No,
there, as long as whatever
we are
determination we have,
we are
we're
we are
hopeful
an
to
extinct.
continue the legacy that you have all, dedicated your life to build with respect to whatever nobility would mean and whatever we may probably be able to hopefully learn from it.
See like the bar council for votes. I mean, like enrolling 300 lawyers in one sitting, 400 lawyers in one sitting. That's that. I mean, there are many things, and the five-year term gets extended to 10 years, 8 years. Never have elections, one pretext or the other. You give your bar license to everyone without asking a single question. Just
I
you
think they
thinking
started
that
making
okay.
it more difficult now, the bar exam.
Huh?
So I think they've started making the bar exam more difficult now. I request anyone to kindly, just give some updates on this, whosoever may have.
I don't know. I just get to see on the Facebook 300 lawyers enrolled, 300 lawyers enrolled. I mean, there should be at least some question, because what do you do with these people from private colleges? They come with.
So, with respect to, so it's just blessings how you have trained so many young guys. So, like I have also had the privilege of not just once, but continuously, in whatever manner I can keep trying to learn from you. So, similarly, so it's just all of you guys
You're
who are
probably
present at the bar.
you're probably very thick-skinned to have tolerated me.
Thickest. So, but on a candid note, so on a candid
very
note,
kind of
since
you.
this talking about this, a lot of people in Delhi High Court, they have, they get, I don't know, I see a lot of people have a lot of thoughts when your name comes up. There are a lot of stories, there are a lot of, how do I say, interesting
Oh,
things. I don't
oh,
know
you
about all of them,
don't.
but very unique
नहीं,
things.
you don't. See, वो कहते हैं ना, अज्जल गगरी छलकत जाए. Empty vessels make more sound. When you know nothing and you pretend to be wise, so naturally stories तो आएंगी. वो कहते हैं ना, खोखले जो होते हैं, empty vessels, खोखला आदमी के बारे में तो stories होंगी. हवाबाजी जिसको कहते हैं. So naturally there'll be a lot of stories. I also get to hear a lot of them. I mean, like sometimes the interns are talking over here a little bit, one bit here and there. Then look, I'm bound to be a lot of stories.
No, so but I respect, I appreciate the fact that at least obviously it means that so many people have had the opportunity of getting to know you, and that's obviously more valuable than anything else in this respect. So, sir, second thing is the second question which I was mentioning back then. In the meanwhile, I just want to put to everyone that please, whatever your questions are, I request you to kindly share them in the chat box so that we can take them up with sir. You only ask them, but at least just let us know that you have a question. Raise your hand. Do something so that we also know that we can let you ask. So there is this thing. So what I really appreciate about you also. So since a conversation with you can range from pre-independence and historic times of legal inception to what is the future. So I follow your website also, sir. It is Jaggi and Jaggi. I request everyone to kindly just search online. You'll find a lot of material which is there, a lot of articles which sir has also written. And to everyone's surprise, at least to my surprise, a lot of those articles, the recent ones, they've been bordering on artificial intelligence and technology laws. So, what do you see as the future? You mentioned the challenges which are there of ChatGPT and all of these things today also. I've also made my mistakes. I've also realized and learned the hard way, but thankfully not very hard. But sir, how do you see it? The involvement of technology in future.
See, I happen to have some information that 2000 by 2025 we should have lot of foreign law firms. I think that is going to metamorphosize the legal system in India, at least in the metropolitan cities.
So will it
Delhi,
not just kill the local Indian lawyers?
No.
People who are already reluctant to study and people who are
No,
having
no,
challenges with
no,
language,
no, no,
if
no,
those people are going
no,
to come with their language, so
no,
they'll
no, no,
bulldoze
no,
every single thing. I understand.
no. I think this could be a blessing in disguise. It is providence and divinity uh, doing something for the legal setup system. See, you have an ordinary, poor market. One good shop comes up, and the whole market is transformed into a high zone, hi-fi market. Take Khanna market, take Merchant market, take Lakshmi Nagar, Chakarpur. One shop comes up, then one store after the other. When these law firms come up, they're going to change the system. They have the wherewithal and the power of the green stuff to be able to pick up the best. The
Sir,
best
they'll
will
pick
get
up the best of clients.
no
They
no
will
no
pick up
no
the
no
best
no
of the
no
money.
no. Naturally, they'll pick up the best of money. But let me allow me to finish.
So,
They will be the best will get the lowest employment will be 3 lakhs a month. The lowest salary that they'll be giving to anybody they pick up will be 3 lakhs a month, right? So they'll pick up the best. The rest of the the ones who claim to be this will be absorbed as paralegal. I had one person I got him a job in a law firm at 15,000. After 10 days, that person telling me, he's not worth 15,000. We'll give him 12,000. And after another 3 weeks, he says, I'm packing him off at 8,000. And that person thought he was cat's whiskers. But when it came to practically sitting there, I sent another person to the same law firm. They offered him 15,000. And after 15 days, they raised to 18,000. Right? They were interns, they were not lawyers. Right? And I think at the end of the month, he was getting 22,000 or so. Two people from the same college, same friends, they'd go together. Right? One was the hardworking kind, the other one was using him, taking advantage of him every time. So what is the use when you go to practical task? You're bound to be caught. Same college, same friends, going together to college together. The one I second, I think now he's doing very well. He's passed out, become a lawyer, and how do you tell? You see, how do you tell these people that look, you're not worth it? You're asking for something which you're asking for a 5-figure salary. You're not worth even a 4-figure salary.
so, but where are we
What?
going
What?
wrong?
No. See, after all, who's going to pay? The money comes from the client, right? The way you can make your money if you happen to be knowing some judge or having a contact. So okay, you get the work done for that law firm, so they'll give you percent. That way you'll make money. But when you don't know anything, how are you going to make any money? Why would any law firm keep you when you're not no good?
So
In this
then, where
colony
is the
that
where is the learning curve? So
in
where,
no,
where is the learning curve
see,
being left
see,
incomplete?
learning is left totally incomplete. They come with such swollen egos like everything. In this colony that I was talking about, I was talking to a property dealer. He says, what happens? The offices are open with fanfare for 6, 8 months. Oh, they pay advance money and spend everything. Right? 10 months they they want money back for the if they paid advance 1 year advance. See, I'll give you an instance. This is a real case, but I'm quoting it as an illustration. There was one person who came to me. I was convalescing that time, and he would ask me points. And for me, it was instead of being seated on the wheelchair, it was good company for me to passed away at the time. He'd ask me questions and I would tell him. Then next day he said, "Can I take your dictation?" I said, "All right." I was helping him. He was taking my points and going to a senior lawyer, right? And he was doing very well. He himself admitted from the points that I gave him, he earned 5 lakhs from the senior. Now what happened? That same senior to whom he had given the points got stuck on some of the points that I had given him. That was my language. And he came to me. Very odd chance, no? The 3-4 chances relate to all. Came to me. I said, "This is my draft." He said, "तो वो लेके आया था." I placed 2 and 2 together. I called him. And the senior was paying him because his brother was in an important position in a court. Now the brother got transferred. Nothing could happen. The senior kicked him out. That's not practice. If I have a contact and I'm able to do it and that person, that contact is transferred, then you're not there. Another thing, there was another junior of mine at this very nearby, there's a photo stat. I said, "Get these papers, इनको photo stat करा के लो." He would not let my staff go. He said, "धीरे चलते हैं." उसके भी 3 sets, they'd make 3 sets. Or the 3 sets like this, one the photographer, the printer, the photostat guy would keep. One, that fellow would take extra. And one returned to me. The one that photostat wala would keep, he would sell. The one this intern did, he went to a senior, usko de diya. He also got stuck up very nearby. He came to check up with me. I said, "This is my draft." The third, a president of a bar of a court, district court, one of the district courts. He brought a draft which an intern had, on the pretext of getting it photostated, kept a draft and taken it there. I said, "This is my draft." So when you have practices like this, where is the nobility of the profession? See, I can say today, if I were a younger person, and not that they wouldn't want to clout me on the head, even now they would, but that's the reality. You have to accept it. You can't change it. The mindset is like that. So the foreign law firms come and they have the yardstick, and when these others find that, look, there is no other alternative to make good, honest money except by hard work, they'll probably work a little harder, try to get the.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
That's the only
Sir,
way.
I don't know, sir. I'm just because of the fact that it is you who I'm speaking with right now, but obviously so many other people are, hearing. So I just want to say, sir, one thing that, sir, I feel very deeply disheartened by the fact that, sir, what you said, the word hard work, that a lot of people see it very differently.
Nobody wants to do any hard work.
It's unfortunate. Sir. I'm not saying that I am a hardworking guy, though I like to believe myself to be. But again, we've been taught humility, but sir, I feel that a lot of young guys, like I know a lot of young guys, patience is not, how do I say it, there.
They
But
think
sir,
they're out
again,
of
sir,
law
then,
college. They
then sir,
must say
we
no.
have a sword at our
No.
throat, sir. It's red.
Law
Where do we
law
pay the
means
rent
6-7
from,
years
sir? Where
eating
do we
from
pay the
home.
money to come and go, and I don't know what all the society expects us to do today.
You make good money if you know it. I know. I mean, like I've had interaction with a lot of people, who were in the second year, third year. You saw the spark. You knew that before their 5th year, they'd make money. They'd win all the contests, all the competitions.
But sir, it is,
But
sir. So the legal fraternity is dual-faced, I feel. So I'm
it
just
it it it
overstepping
is
right now.
it,
It is.
not
So
it,
on the
it is
one hand,
it is double faced. It is.
multi-phase, sir, multi-phase, like Ravan, to be honest. Like I'm just overstretching right now, and I already apologize most humbly and unconventionally, and in whatever manner is possible to everyone. But sir, on the one hand, there is this laddu of nobility, right? And all of these, very words which I've never met anyone who's been able to aptly describe to me what the word solicitation means and where it implies in the legal
So,
fraternity.
soliciting
But
means
everyone is scared of
no,
it
no,
because the moment that
no, no.
word comes, everyone goes like,
See,
oh, something has happened,
see,
right?
soliciting means going to a tout, going to get work. मेरे को काम दो.
सर कुछ भी किसी
Listen to
से भी
me.
काम आओ तो solicitation ही तो हुई.
नहीं, this is. तो जो noble है, nobility इसलिए आती है. A lawyer doesn't go to anybody else. I'll give you an example. Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru used to, their Attorney General and Solicitor General were MC Setalwad and C.K. Daftari. Brilliant guys. I had occasion to argue against them also. Brilliant. They are the lawyers. Yeah. I mean, just thinking about them, you get the, oh, what an honor it was. क्या वो चीज. The Prime Minister would say, Mr. AC बंद कर दो. Prime Minister would say, Mr. Daftari, Mr. Setalwad, can I come and have a cup of tea with you? Can I come and have a cup of tea with you and enjoy your wisdom and get the benefit of your wisdom? Because if the Prime Minister would say, look, you have to go to a lawyer. The actual tradition is even the king is supposed to go to the advisor, the lawyer, not his advisor. Right? That is the nobility. And what Mr. Setalwad or Mr. Dafri would say, Honorable Mr. Prime Minister, sir, we'd love to have you over. Because once you come here, you'll yourself notice that we are sitting in such important positions and you've given such a scrounging miser. You're not even given us good furniture, no AC, no air conditioning. That is the kind of talk. But sir, that's not the reason why would we feel we must be allowed to refuse. The reason is that tea at Teen Murti is far superior to the tea that you allow us, the small quota of money you allow us for the tea. These poor brethren who represent you in your law, they also need a change. They need a vacation. So allow us to come to Teen Murti and enjoy your wonderful, wonderful tea. That's how they used to talk. I've heard because I was made. I've been to Teen Murti and like coming from the school. His grandchildren we were in the same school, and the younger one was my class fellow.
So all of us lawyers who don't have some family or generational money, should we leave the profession, sir?
No, not at all.
Then, sir, how do we practice, sir? How do we make ends meet? We take
I
jobs.
know. I met somebody who's a first generation lawyer and he's going to be elevated. I mean, he's been recommended. He'll be elevated in the next few weeks. Delhi High Court. I know so many.
So, but not so many
No,
judges or whatever.
No,
and so we don't even aspire to be judges, sir.
Nobody aspires to be a judge. It's not the same charm, and I agree with you. Not the same charm. Now, what do you call that? That's it. But what I mean is, first generation lawyers are doing exceedingly well because they want to do it exceedingly well. They studied.
So we have a class.
No,
sir, we have a class with Mr. Kirti Uppal tomorrow. He is also a first generation lawyer. He was previously the president of DSCB.
He keeps that I'm a first generation lawyer and all that stuff, right? He was my student, and I'll share with you a very funny note. I was invigilating a law exam, and I went to the washroom. There was one student. I looked pretty young. I was very young when I started teaching, and this student thought I was a student also. He asked me a question. So he said, "Shish, hey, professor, he's not a student." That guy panicked and he peed. And when he peed, it fell on his pants and his shoes, Keith Uppal's shoes. I keep remind him of that. And that apart, but he's doing very well. I've also engaged him, my student, but I've engaged him in a few cases. That's because he's done well. He's a first generation lawyer. I must have given him more than half a dozen cases and paid very well. The clients paid very well. So it's not that a first generation lawyer can't. The first generation lawyer has to know what law is all about. And it's simple. Let me tell you one thing. This thought has just come to me in the aftermath of the glorious tradition that I spoke of. It seemed to be on the verge of extinction like this dinosaur. Those first generation lawyers who have earned their law degree shall never ever fail. Those first generation lawyers who have earned their law degree shall never ever fail. They are bound to be successful and stupendously successful. But those of the law students who become lawyers and not having earned their law degree, I'm not saying purchase the law degree, not having earned the law degree, not having worked hard enough to learn what law is supposed to be. Difficulties for them. Any first generation lawyer, I repeat, at the cost of being repetitive, any first generation lawyer, if he has earned his law degree, shall never ever be unsuccessful. He is bound to be stupendously successful. I'd like, like what you call, if you can put this as a start, this epilogue as a prologue to this interview.
So we'll do it, sir. So we'll make a short of it because this is getting live streamed to YouTube, howsoever it is. With your blessing, so hopefully, sir, with the truth of it, कि सच है सर बातों में जो भी हम कर रहे हैं तो अब hopefully just the truth which will prevail at the end of the day. But sir, enough of what I have to say or what I have to ask. We have a question. This is from Miss Vedhi Rao. Ma'am, if you're hearing, would you like to ask your question or would you want me to ask it?
No, if she's kind enough to ask me. I think I can see her. She's on the left-hand side.
Can you please?
Unless she does not want. I'd like to ask me, because I would know how you speak from the modulation of your voice.
I can't see her now in the chat. I think she probably asked.
No, she's speaking. I think she's the one on the left-hand side.
Is it?
Is it on the thing? She's the one on the left-hand side? No, I know. Okay, what's the question?
So I will ask the question on her behalf. She says, good evening, sir. I wanted to ask, as you mentioned about the difference in behaviorism with the current youth practicing advocates and difference in the educational system of your era, do you think it has anything to do with the current political scenario in India, or do you believe it to be more of a gradual sociological process due to the increasing population in India?
Well, it could be the last, could be the increasing population. That could be one. It could be increasing population. And the fact that in the last decade or so, of course, I do not want to be political because we all have very strong feelings. In the last decade, India seems to have spurred on as a very powerful nation on the world scene. That has made a difference. I'm not being political. I'm not being this thing. I've been very, very close to, we used to call me Prime Minister Mrs. Gandhi auntie. I mean, like those good old days. And we played with Prime Minister Nehru. I mean, and sat behind him at the beating of the retreat, and even taken Davannis and Chivannis when playing at the Teen Murti. Not political, but the fact is, the last decade, India has really spurted as a very powerful, or at least a very important nation in the Committee of Nations the world over. That has led to a lot of repercussions and ramifications with foreign investment, and the reason why we are not getting a lot more foreign investment is because of the legal system, the delays. So we're now shifting on to the ADR. Because one thing that I've talked to most, I mean, when during time I was actively practicing and meeting these people, I was representing during Bill Clinton's time a lot of American interest. So I have a fair personal knowledge like how. The biggest fear that these foreign investors have is the delaying pattern of the judicial system in case of any dispute. That's a very, very hampering factor. So answering the young ladies, fine young ladies' answer, sociological impact, and India having suddenly become powerful or important in the Committee of Nations, and foreign investors wanting to come and be because the workforce is next only to China. only to China. If our legal system were far more easier, we have, any person had an access far more in a far more easier and in a far more congenial environment, the workforce, all the investment could have shifted from China onto India. The legal system is one fairly important reason that we are not getting this. I hope it answers your questions.
Certainly, sir, we hope that Miss Vedi got her answer.
She still has
But she could not ask. I think she's back now. But okay.
Have I, madam, young lady, have I left anything? I can see somebody there in the thing. Last one. What was she? No. Okay. All right. Any other question? Oh, they've all left. Oh,
no, sir. They're all right over there only, but they're very scared of you, sir, to ask questions from what I understand.
No. You all left. They thought, what is this boring man talking?
I know the kind of an aura and of authority that you command at the bar, and I'm just grateful that I get this opportunity to be a little candid with you. So
that's my honor.
Deeply grateful to you for that, of course.
Yeah.
Vedi, I think your mic is on mute now.
Hello, am I audible?
Oh, I can hear her.
Yes, you're audible.
Could I
very
answer?
Barely, but yes.
Could I answer your question? Could I answer, or I left out, or was it satisfying or dissatisfactory?
I'm so sorry, sir. Actually, I'm facing lagging issues. So, could you please repeat the answer? I'm facing a lot of network issues.
It was a detailed answer, actually, ma'am. So I think maybe in brief, if such.
Okay.
I do agree with you. I do agree with you that the increasing population, the societal pattern that has changed, the break off of the Hindu united family, undivided family, the nuclear family, that also breaking up, the tensions of becoming rich overnight, like the carpetbaggers of Harold Robbins, 1904. All these factors have led to it. Easy access to private law universities where you don't have to go and attend your classes. All these are factors which have contributed to the present state of affairs. That is one. But I still feel that the last decade or so, India's position in the Committee of Nations has risen tremendously, and there's a fair amount of respect. Put on the fan at least, and fair amount of respect for India, which has led to foreign investment. But that foreign investment is coming in far lesser magnitude than it should, even though our workforce is next only to that of China. The reason is also one of a major reason is the judicial system. They're all apprehensive of the fact that it takes years and years to resolve a dispute. Take the Enron case, that electricity, they had to go back. Although now we're shifting to ADR, but still there's a fair amount of apprehension that the judicial system should be quicker in delivery. Is there anything else? I am a septuagenarian, more of an octogenarian, so I tend to forget things.
That was really wonderful, and thank you so much. It's really.
Where are you studying? Which year?
Oh, so I'm in JNU actually. I'm not a law student. I really aspire to be, but yeah, I wanted to know more about the community, and I also had an assignment.
Who designed the JNU? Who was the architect?
No, I'm doing management in JNU, sir.
Doesn't matter. A leader must know everything about everything.
So I'm not factually sure, but I'm pretty sure it was built by the Congress government. I think it was initially the one of the.
I'm asking the architect. The architect was.
I'm so sorry.
That doesn't matter. I'll come to why I'm asking you. It was a gentleman called C.P. Kukreja, Chandra Prakash Kukreja, and he got a reward of 35,000 rupees.
Oh, wow.
Why I remember this is because when he gave this party, that was the first time I was a student or studying. That's the first time I got drunk. So I never forget this. So JNU. And I also had the privilege to do my MPhil many, many decades back. So that's why, JNU was a very hip university those days. It was the most modernistic. So I share a very strong bond. That's why it was
I
the
feel
design
nice to know
architect.
that, sir. Yeah.
Uh,
You seem like someone who has really lived through life and actually seen exactly what it is to be at your level right now. Also, you know what the students face also from just now. I
I
can
know.
feel you've had that particular student life also. So that makes me feel very much relatable. And it is really an honor to be talking to you right now. I really wanted this
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to share one more thing. Those days
yes.
we had no library, so a bus used to come from JNU to Sapru House. We had to study in the Sapru House. That had a huge library. I
Oh,
don't know. There was no library in those days,
oh wow.
so
No,
we had to.
I was not
So we
aware of
had to.
this.
We had to come to Sapru House for the studying, and the bus would drop us back.
Oh,
Anyway, great sharing this experience with you.
So Vediji, thank you so much. We hope that it answered your question and that it's helpful. But sir, so it's wonderful
Yes,
to
please.
know that not just law students, but the students also, like MBA students, are also interested in
That's
these
because of
innovations.
you're a very good host, very interesting host.
Awards, awards. I'm just trying to seek hope, sir. Actually and very actively seeking hope right now. I think that's the one word which has become most crucial and most valuable to me today. And so, thank you so much for giving us that hope. Me personally and everyone who's been part of this session so far, I very sincerely and deeply thank everyone, Sisi ji, Anita ma'am.
I just want to, when you have your private chat with them, I
Uh,
just want to know whether they agree with my wife or not, who says
so,
I am
so,
very garrulous, no substance, only just talk. Like I said, empty vessels make most noise.
so I
No,
believe
no, 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 no. I'll tell you. No, I'll tell you why. If any of your law interns can answer this, what I said, what is this called in law? And what I've said, what does it mean? I'm denigrating myself,
uh,
but what is it called in law? What am I doing? What have I achieved? What is it called in law? They can answer this, they can have an internship with me.
so there are two
Law
sitting
students.
right with you. So I put it to both of them.
They
Let's
wouldn't
see.
know. Okay, could you answer? He was lost. He was lost. He
So
was
then,
thinking.
so then we'll, so then we'll make this the internship question, sir. That
Okay,
for with this class, that
okay,
anyone who's
okay,
able to answer this question can,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
I'll recommend them.
And some accompanying benefits, right?
Absolutely,
Right.
sir. So what your privilege? So the privilege of your, being able to learn from you is the biggest benefit, I think. But obviously, you're generous. You would, look after them. So if you can just repeat the question once again, so I'll put it as a specific internship question.
I want to ask all the law interns, particularly, and all the people generally, if anybody still stuck there or still there, hearing this verbose rhetoric, this question, I want to ask them: do they agree with my wife when she says you're garrulous, and you just when you get the mic, you just don't want to leave it. There's no substance, but it's just flourish of the arms and bravado.
So my answer you already know, and
No, I
obviously
don't.
you've
No, no,
already
no, no.
discarded it.
Now you are to your phone. No, 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 no. This is see if they can understand this,
Sir.
then if any intern will understood this, that means that he can even stand up in the Supreme Court of United Kingdom and the
Absolutely.
Supreme Court of England and Wales. You know, England is the only country which never had a Supreme Court till 1st of October 9, 2009. The House of Lords was the ultimate. If anybody can understand, comprehend this one sentence of mine, the way I spoke, right? This is the language, this is how you pull each other's legs.
Sir.
This is the actual legal practice,
so if I may, I'm
right?
not a law
Yeah.
student myself, but I believe this is a very tricky question, and I don't know if this is a trick question, but
No, no, it's not a trick question. See, it means it's called repartee. See,
okay.
it's like this, it's called wit. A lawyer is supposed to
Yeah,
know everything about everything, and he's supposed to be very witty.
yeah,
And whenever the latest example is that of Kushwant Singh, when you denigrate yourself, you're actually what you are doing is you are raising yourself to the sky. You denigrate yourself. This is, well, like when you say I'm this, right? You're laughing at yourself. You laugh at yourself to uplift yourself. This is called repartee. This is the old, when we used to practice, we used to argue for 13 days. That system is gone. I mean, like we could make the
Beautiful.
judge,
This is a
we
thought.
could make the judge cry. A lawyer's job is, if he is representing a lady who's been harassed, who suffered turmoil, tumult, anguish, use your voice, make him live. And you got to make the judge actually feel what's happening. Who practices law like that? None of these nincompoops. They're not taught how to practice. They're not taught to stand before the mirror and learn how to speak. How to impress. The judge has to live, unless you make the judge live the situation. Imagine the anguish. Look at the stupid judges who let go that because he was a teenager, undergraduate, that Nirbhaya case. They could have twisted, I mean, with illegality within legality, anything a man was he worthy of, and what they accepted the proof of just the radiology test. No. What is important is a lawyer must know everything about everything.
So,
it's not just limited to law. You never know what kind of a case you will get. This is repartee. Like, for example, like what happened, Mr. Keshav, Prabhu Keshav, and we were lost in the woods. We'd gone fox hunting. If you can bring yourself to think fox hunting would be in England, Sherwood Forest. Suddenly it started raining. And there was a little rivulet that got flooded. And we had to cross each other. He had to come this side, I had to go that side. There's only trunk of on that rivulet which had swollen because of flooding. There's only one trunk of tree, this thick. Only one person could go there and the other person could come here. So I started walking, thinking I'm elder to him, I have the first right. He started walking, thinking he's young and swanky. He could sidestep the old man, throw him down the rivulet, and walk across. We reached the center of the. And Mr. Keshav, Prabhu Keshav, your brilliant host, tells me, I never give way to a knave. You know the spelling of knave? K-N-A-V. Knave means a fool, a rascal. He says, he called me a rascal. I never give way to a rascal. So he called me a rascal. I can't fight him, no. He's tougher than me, younger than me, fitter than me. So how do I bring it to level? I bowed down. I said, but I always do. So I've insulted him back. I've said, you don't give way to a fool, to a rascal. I always give way to a rascal. I go back. This is repartee, an integral part of legal practice. This is what I teach the interns. I make them relearn law, what they've learned in the stupid private universities. That's important. Control, make the judge. How will you make the judge understand your case? A film producer, director, what does he do? Visually, he makes you laugh, isn't it? When Johnny Lever comes, he laughs. When Dilip Kumar sir comes, he's a tragedy hero. Dharminder comes fighting Dishu, Amitabh Bachchan fighting Dishu. What does the lawyer do? With the modulation of his voice, he makes the judge live that incident. He makes him feel the pain of a rape victim so that he does justice. It's not merely a case for him, for money. Money may be important, may be significant, but equally or more significant is the justice. If he's not going to get the justice to a poor, innocent girl who's been raped, mass raped, then he's not meant to be a lawyer. That's when I speak of the nobility of the profession. You have to have some involvement. That's the way we practice. And that it's sometimes heartrending when you find in present circumstances, neither the courts have that time, they're overburdened, 20 cases, 40 cases, 60 cases, 2 minutes, adjournment. We used to argue for 13 days. I argued a case and it was decided on 26th of May 1980. The top 8 lawyers of the country, except to Mr. Palkiwala. And they're all brilliant. Imagine Soli Sorabji, Siddharth Shankar Ray, Nariman, Lal Narayan Sinha, L.M. Singhvi, Manu Singhvi's father, and other raw central government standing counsel with a junior of 7 or 8 months in the family way. Worked hard. I won that case. That was the first case purely upon merit. And you know who helped me? That was my first case on excise. That lawyer, that intern, that junior, that officer who helped me, he's the biggest lawyer now in excise, Lakshmi Kumaran. He used to, I mean, like because it was his career, he was that time he was a deputy secretary or under secretary. The joint secretary was very, very ferocious. He'd bollock, and he would come and prepare me. What saved me was my command of the English language. I ripped apart Soli Sorabji because I knew where Soli was. He was a brilliant, eloquent orator. But I knew if I could outsmart him. And he was very, very angry at me. He said, "You're Punjabi beating a Parsi." I said, "But my command of the English language is probably more extensive than yours." It was an excise, like how asbestos is done. Now look at Lakshmi Kumaran, he has the biggest lawyer on excise in the world, in the country. First generation, he was not even a lawyer, he was my student. My student, the case came up there. Right? And I must have bollocked him, according to him, I bollocked him 3 times publicly in class. He took it. That's it. A first generation lawyer, if he's earned his law degree, nobody can stop him. He can be the Chief Justice of India. But you've got to earn your law degree. Is that all? Are you, Mr. Prabhu Keshav, is that all?
So that's just tremendous amounts of hope. And I'm hopeful that more and more number of my brother...
Young lady for a nearly 80 years old young boy. For a nearly 80 years old young boy.
No, sir, no, you're very, very good for your age and not at all 80. So you mean 18 years old. I would not say 80. So wittiness. I'm also catching it up.
So let's maybe
I had one more question.
Yes. Thank you very much. You caught on. You learned so fast. You mastered it.
The greater the teacher, the better the student. I had one last question. So
sorry. Yes, please.
To take your time, it'll be quick. I just wanted to ask about the given Indian legal justice system with its large number of cases ranging from individual to organizational levels. What are your views on possibly more efficient and quicker cases for the future of the Indian justice system over here?
See, the government is one of the largest litigants in the country.
Yeah.
What happens is when a case is decided against a government, any government or any statutory body, everyone knows there's no merit in filing an appeal. But nobody ever, no officer has ever had the courage to say not fit for an appeal. They feel that, look, if they write this, tomorrow the Provident Fund, the dues will be stopped. They'll say, why did you do it? Yeah. That's the reason when I was standing counsel for DDA and the central government and other bodies, I used to tell them, no, there's not a fit case for them. They said, no, sir, mar jayenge. I said, look, let me write. I did in almost 20 cases, and nothing happened. But no government officer is willing to take the risk. They say, if we write not fit for appeal. So even it's a bad, worst case, right from the lowest court till the Supreme Court, they'll go on fighting. It takes donkey's number of years. If you remove these cases, at least 30% plus litigation, I mean, the board should be cleared.
Okay.
This one. No government officer ever takes. This was a practical thing that I found. And then secondly, ADR appears to be what you call the new process. Here what happens, The system is the young lawyers coming from the private law colleges, when they're not prepared, they just go and make lousy, funny excuses for an adjournment. The judge says he's starting his career. If I don't give him an adjournment, all right, out of, sympathy or any reason, he says, okay, he has gone for 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
So these, abroad, like earlier, they would give you a date 5 months earlier. If you wanted an adjournment, you have to make alternative arrangements. If the lawyer was not available, you have to do it. Here, that doesn't matter. They'll give you adjournment. That's one reason it drags on. And
Yeah.
then the system is drag on.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. It's really nice to know your views coming from someone from such a high position, such a senior advocate in Supreme Court with your legacy. So it really matters to me about what all answers I finally have in according to the questions that I had gathered up in my mind because of the legal system in India currently.
Ma'am, now
One
we request.
last question I had.
Yes.
Ma'am, this is the last question, but also, ma'am, I request you to kindly
No, please. Please.
I
No,
request
please
you
ask.
to share sir, I have to plug this somewhere, sir. I request you to kindly share this initiative now with your other MBA student fellow friends also, so that they may also benefit.
Yeah.
Please.
But if you have time, let her. We should
Please,
not be.
certainly, sir. Of course not, sir. Certainly.
Okay,
I'm
last
sorry.
question.
But
I promise after this I'll have no more. So, basically, I was really curious to ask someone sitting in Supreme Court itself as to the fact that marital rape is not recognized in India, and why is that so, and what can we do to actually illegalize it in the upcoming future?
It should be because the human body. See, I belong to a generation where we opened the doors for the cars. Ladies. And I belong to when I find the interns, boys and girls sharing or going Dutch, or the girl paying for the boy. I find it not horrible. I find it blasphemous.
So what is this, sir?
And a girl paying, absolutely unacceptable. Chivalry has to be there. Yeah.
So then,
When
what
you're
about
going out for no.
obviously
Doesn't
not
matter.
not on the larger picture of the premise of the question. I'm sorry, I just, because I understand the question is more deep. Please, sir.
Yeah, but marital rape, yes, should be legalized because the wife has the right over her body. Yes, she's no longer. Like the husband pouncing upon her his wish. No. And coming on that, if you allow me to go a little, if you permit me, see the reason why a vast majority of the Indian women could never have an orgasm in their lives was because the husbands were only concerned with their own pleasure. Whereas, if marital rape is legalized, they would have the sense to have the foreplay and the afterplay. A woman has to be caressed before and after.
Right.
They must know. They must know that the woman. Believe me, it's the woman who's always stronger than the man. And any man can win over a woman if he caresses her in foreplay and afterplay and looks at her needs equally or more importantly than his own. Why they never had an orgasm? Because they're only concerned with themselves. And now suppose the old fogies, the people sitting to decide this case, they've never. They've probably never. They've practiced that husband has the right right over the wife. Still carry that view. How would you expect them to change the law and legalize this? There has to be a newer set of judges who understand the significance of a woman as a company. The male and female are cogent. They're together. Together they can set Amazon on fire, Ganges on fire, Yamuna on fire. I don't mean fighting. Fighting, they can create a thunderous storm. But together also, that's the thing. Marital rape should and must be must be legalized.
Certainly, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So, but that equality question still remains, sir. Like, sir, I am absolutely.
Yes, I
Women
absolutely.
are Devi. Women are
Huh?
Devi.
Yes, all
everyone
right.
is
Yes.
like Devi. Vediji, thank you so much. So, but sir, on that equality front that just came into the picture, sir, in that respect, I just have one humble, how do I say, um, question or doubt, probably. So that equality is it not being used? How do I say? Uh, you know, conveniently. That so being so practicing as a lawyer, I see matrimonial matters also. I see the kind of things which are alleged by wives against their husbands, and sometimes in some candid or how do I say confidence, sometimes some things they come across also as that some allegations were probably not true in the truest sense of the word, so to say, trying to put it humbly. But so in those circumstances, sir, how do all of these things take place? I don't know, sir. I just understand one thing, and I am absolutely vouch for equality. But I say that if you claim equality, then you speak equality and you take equality. But cannot be so that everything cannot be how do I say biased.
See what happens. What happens. I'm not denying the fact that some cases are false also, fake cases also. That is, and there are several instances where this has happened. But her question was very specific: marital rape.
Absolutely.
See,
To
the
that
wife
extent,
has. See, if you go and as go and do research, go and do research, you will find that the reason why Indian women could never have to orgasm was the husband just plongs on the thing, only concerned with his own self, right? That was, I'm answering that question on the marital rape.
so,
Regarding your question, that's on some other day, we'll take over a longer topic that why 498 is misused. That's your
certainly.
question, isn't it?
So kind of, but that is just one part
Not
of it.
kind
The
of, you're
490,
smart enough,
the
smart
498A
enough to
is
drag,
one part of it, sir.
no, no, yeah, you're
376.
smart enough to drag me into long, lengthy this thing. Now I need a cup of tea. What's the time?
Certainly, sir. So it's
Uh,
just been a blessing. So how do I say?
uh,
It's just
uh,
been a blessing discussing all of these things
we've
with you.
taken about half an hour.
Sir, Watson, nothing. 5 minutes. I think the entire conversation lasted. It seemed so short.
Okay, thank you very much. I need a cup of tea and my medication also. Thank
So
you very much.
the
So
most
Thank you.
most deepest gratitude to you, sir, on behalf of
Yeah,
everyone who has joined. So it's just our blessing that we get this opportunity. And so, as you very rightfully said, sir, we look forward to an opportunity to
yeah,
discuss further. So, witty
yeah,
repartate also with you. And
yeah.
so, all of these things,
All
we
right,
hope
all
that
right, all
we'll
right.
get the opportunity to
Okay,
continue learning from you and
okay.
continue growing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much to everyone who has joined. And if you've stayed with us for so long, please give us
you.
your feedback. Right, that is one thing for which, sir, pulls my ears the most. That you do not,
Honest feedback.
yeah, honest
Honest
feedback for
feedback.
whatever we've been able to discuss so far. And that is, I think, if you've stuck along so far, I think that's, most valuable. And at the same time, your presence and your support is what motivates us to continue doing all of this. And we're just grateful to you, and we just hope that the initiative is of any value to you. uh, Definitely, personally, to all of us and all the participants who are present here, I'm absolutely certain that it has been somewhat
Yeah, yeah.
valuable.
Thank you. Thank you. Now stop your harangue. Yeah, come on, come on, come on. You're going on and
So
on. Thank you
with
very
that
much.
with that with that I seek sir's permission to shut the class today.